Good morning to all. I am Dr.K.Sounthara Priya, Assistant Professor of Commerce, the Standard Firehouse Rajaratnam College for Women, Sivakasi. Today we discussed about income tax. The tax is the most important sources of revenue by the government. That tax is collected from the individual. That amount is utilized for the welfare of our country. Learning objectives. From this classes we understand what is taxes and what are the objectives and futures of the taxes. Introduction. The most important sources of revenue of the government is taxes. The act of levying taxes is called taxations. The tax is compulsory charge or the fees imposed by the government from the individual or the corporations. What is tax? The tax is a part of an individual earnings which is required to be paid to the government in order to generate revenue. That revenues are utilized for the welfare of our public. The tax is a mandatory fee or the financial charge levied by our government from the individual, the persons whose taxable income is exceed the slab rate, to collect the revenues from the public works, providing that best facilities and infrastructure. There are various types of taxes are available. They are classified into two broad categories. One is direct tax and another is indirect tax. Direct tax means the tax is paid directly to the government by the taxpayer. For example, income tax and wealth tax. The income tax and wealth tax are paid by the assessee directly to the government. Then second type of tax is indirect tax. That tax is not paid directly to the government by the taxpayer. That is indirectly paid by someone else. For example, GST, sales tax, excise duty and customs duties. Next we see the definition of taxes. According to Seligman, tax means a compulsory collected donations from the public which is used for the benefit of all. The tax not catered to the individual needs. That means the tax is collected from the individual by the government. That amount is utilized for the public welfare. That is not utilized for the individual needs. Then according to Taylor, the tax means a compulsory donations by the public without any direct benefit for such donations. That is, the tax is compulsory donations. That is, the person's one whose income exceed the slab rate means that person is compelled to pay the taxes. Then according to Dalton, the tax means a mandatory liability and it does not resemble any reciprocal or proportionate benefit. Again, it is mandatory liabilities. If the taxpayer's incomes is exceed means that taxpayers is mandatory to pay the taxes to the government. Then next, what is income tax? Income tax is tax imposed on individual or entities in respect of the income or profit earned by them. The persons one who earn income means that income exceed the slab rate means they must pay the taxes to the government. Income tax is very important direct tax. That is, that income tax comes under the category of direct tax. Direct tax means that amount is directly paid to the government by the taxpayer. There is no they are not able to transfer the tax burden to someone else. Then it is an important and most significant sources of revenues of the government. Yes, the government receive major revenues from the income taxes. That amount is utilized for maintaining the law and order in the country, safeguard the securities of the country from the foreign powers and to promote the welfare of the people. It is the foremost duty of the government to bring out all the welfare and development programs which will bridge the gap between rich and poor. For these purposes, the tax amount, that is the amount is collected from both direct and indirect taxes, are utilized for bridge the gap between the economic development of our country. So, it is helpful for achieving the balanced socio-economic growth. Then the objectives of income tax. The income tax are collected for the purposes of meeting the following objectives. First one is to reduce inequalities in the distribution of income and wealth, to bring out equity between classes of taxpayer, to accelerate the economic growth and development of the country, to make available funds for the economic development, to encourage investment in new capital goods, to channelize the investment into those sectors which contribute most to economic growth. So, overall objectives of the government to collect the taxes is for the development of our country. Next, we discussed about the features of income tax. The income tax is charged on the income of the previous year. Previous year means before the assessment year. Assessment year is 2023 and 24. So, the previous year is 2022 and 23 at a rate which is prescribed by the Finance Act for the relevant assessment year. Finance Act was passed every year by the Parliament in the form of budget. The income tax is levied on a person in relation to no income of the previous year. The taxpayer's liability is determined with reference to his residential status in the previous year or accounting year. Liability to income tax rates only where the total income in the accounting year exceeds the maximum tax-free amount, that is the tax slab rate is fixed by the government. It is prescribed in every year in the Financial Act. That rates of income tax are progressive and incidence of tax increases with the rise of income. It is a compulsory deduct the taxes at the source and pay it to the government. These are explained in the next slide. That is the persons one who earned income from salary, income from house property and income from business or professions and income from capital gains and income from other sources. That incomes are added, that is known as gross total income. From the gross total income we have deduct some deductions. The deductions may be savings or donations etc. So, after deducting the gross total income from the deductions, we have the net total income. From this net total income exceeds 3 lakh 1 to 6 lakh means the person is liable to pay 5% at taxes. If the person's income, net total income exceeds 6 lakh 1 to 9 lakh means they are liable to pay 10% as taxes. If the persons whose net income exceeds 9 lakh 1 to 12 lakh means they are liable to pay 15% as taxes to the government. Then if the individual's income exceeds 12 lakh 1 to 15 lakhs, then liable to pay 20% as taxes. If the person's net total incomes exceed 15 lakhs means then they are liable to pay 30% as taxes to the government. So, it is the most important revenue of the government. That amount is utilized for the welfare of our country. Thank you for watching this video. I hope that video is useful for understanding the objectives and features of income tax. Let's see in the next video. Thank you.